go. Oh, I'm Bert Griffin.
I'm Alexander Willow.
I'm Cooper Sims.
And I'm Connor Bass, and we have recently researched the topic of gun rights, and more specifically, should American citizens have the right to bear arms?
Now, on December 15, 1791, the Bill of Rights was adopted after being ratified by a 3/4 vote of the states. In this, the Second Amendment took action, stating that the right of the people was to keep and bear arms, and it shall not be infringed. However, life was much different 200 plus years ago in the United States. Guns were a key tool to survival because they were needed for protection and hunting, where today they merely serve the purpose of home security and more commonly being used to commit violent crimes all over the country.
Constitutional rights. Ever since the gun rights have been an issue, many gun rights activists have argued that the Second Amendment protects the right to bear arms. However, this was over 200 years ago, and now that more advanced weaponry is available to the public, more citizens' lives are at risk. As stated by Sanjay Sangho on constitutional rights, as a civilized nation, America has a greater moral responsibility to protect its citizens than it does to adhere to the Second Amendment. It's time that the gun control issue was pegged for what it really is, a moral issue.
There are approximately 100,000 gun violence victims in America every year, and over half of the U.S. murders in 2012 were by firearm. Also in 2012, there were 31,000 American deaths, which is equivalent to over 85 per day and over 3 per hour. And as you can see here, we about double homicide rates to every other country in the world. And over half of our homicides are by firearm.
Mass shootings. Mass shootings have been on an incline in the U.S. within the past decade. There have been 8 large public mass shootings in the last 14 months. And as you can see here with these charts, they've been on a gradual increase, steady, but then it just shoots up in the United States. Same as that one.
Assault rifles. As you can see in here, after the assault rifles ban, assault rifle use has been gradually inclining over the last 10 years. Because of the Orlando shooting killing 50, San Bernardino shooting killing 14, the movie theater massacre in Colorado, and the Newtown, Connecticut elementary shooting, all these have one thing in common. They were committed with assault rifles. In the last 14 months, there have been 8 public mass shootings, but 7 of these have been committed with assault rifles. What are assault rifles, though? Assault rifles are military-grade rifles capable of firing many rounds in a short amount of time with high accuracy. Illegal and felon gun ownership. Although it's much harder for felons to own guns, it is possible. Through a long process, they can go through court and actually get their rights to own a gun again.
The economic effects by mass shootings. The firearm industry produces a lot of money and provides a lot of jobs for the United States economy, and the mass shootings have led to an increase in the economy of guns by more families and people going out to protect themselves to buy guns. This spike in gun sales kind of sets up for the fact that, is it worth it to be selling more guns? Is that the way we want to protect our people? And can you put a price on human life? The other options to help the economy in guns, you could cut production in high capacity magazines, as well as cut all production of assault rifles and make them not available for the public.
Guns and people. There were 64 school shootings recorded in 2015. Groups of people, including race and gender, are affected differently. African Americans, making up 13% of the U.S. populations, suffered over half of gun homicides and about 24% of all firearm deaths, according to smartgunlaws.org. And as you can see here, right here this is a graph of number of guns per 100 people. So basically what this is saying is per 100 people in America, we have about 90 guns. They own about 90 guns. And that about doubles the second place country, which is Yemen, which, as you can see, more guns equals more deaths. America has the highest rate of guns per resident of any country, as well as the highest firearm homicide and death rate.
So, the options of gun control in the future. We can create and sell the iGun. It is a gun that can only be fired by its owner, picture right there, which decreases the police fatality percentage of them being shot with their own gun. Second one is we could change gun rights to where American citizens are not allowed to bear arms at all, which refers back to our research question. Or we could switch to Canada's gun laws, which is stealth gun control, and that has more border patrol to prevent guns entering the U.S.
In conclusion, we all have to take part in adding to our resolution an anti-gun approach if we want to make a difference at all. There are many different alternatives to self-defense that are non-lethal and can result in not killing yourself and others. Every human life matters, and that should be taken due to access of having weaponry for firearms, and we can improve how our gun laws are in the United States today.
How did the group,
Wait, can you say that again?
yes, how did the group decide to include Cooper's perspective, lens, or conclusions into the overall presentation?
We used Cooper's lens to help strengthen our argument, as well as he brought forward a lot of information to tie in, and he kind of helped make all my economic, Alex's futuristic, and Connor's social lens by using, he helped tie all this together and make them make sense. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Cooper,
Yes.
give one specific way that your thinking changed as a result of learning about Connor's findings.
Well, his social findings were that the more guns really that we have in the United States, the higher deaths and homicides. So we looked through why that happens and found that a lot of people were using protection for them, and yeah, just kind of went off of that.
Thank you. Connor,
Yes.
what is a way in which your team's resolution makes you think differently about your own individual research?
Well, my research a lot focused on day-to-day life and the deaths in day-to-day life with people all around our country, and our kind of conclusion came to the fact that we can have self-defense without using firearms, so it doesn't have to be, like, there are so many deaths that didn't need to have happened if we had said used, tasers or tranquilizer guns that didn't actually kill people.
Thank you. And Alex, in what way did you improve your ability to work with a group as a result of this project?
Well, we definitely had our struggles like a lot of groups would, but I think in the end we really came together as a group using all of our different lenses, and we were able to tie them all into one, so I think that really helps us out.
Thanks. You guys can proceed.